Instructions for Spreadsheet Module C, Homework Number 1. If you notice, the worksheets Complex Formula 1, 2, and 3, similar to Module B and a new customer sales, and they all have names instead of Sheet 1, Sheet 2, Sheet 3. And we are going to do some things that were as a reminder from last week, and then some new features. So the first thing we want to do is get total sales for column I and total sales for each of the individual months. So I'm going to use the quick analysis tool. So start with the open plus, hold and select all the way from C6 to H13. Use your quick analysis toolbar, choose totals as the tab, and you need to get the sum for the bottom and for the right. So it doesn't matter which one you choose, you have to choose one, then go back to the quick analysis, totals, and choose the other. And the only one it doesn't do is the corner one, so just Alt Sum, check, and I'm also going to put it in bold so it matches the rest. And that total should be the same as last week. For today's date, click in B3, Formulas, Date and Time, Today, and OK. Now if you open this particular assignment next week, it'll have next week's current date. Now I want to see the top 3 sales for these 6 months. So again, with the open plus, select C6 all the way to H3. Do not include the total. Column I or row 14. Home, conditional formatting, top bottom rules, top 10. I'm going to change the 10 to 3. So I'll select 10 and put 3, and because it's the top 3, I want it to be green fill with dark green text, and OK. I could keep them selected and choose the bottom 3, and I'll keep that in red. So you can see the top sales and the bottom sales. So March was a good month. Next one, Complex Formula 2. Let's do today's date. Do you remember it? It's equals today, open close parentheses. We'll do our total sales, quick analysis, just like we did in the previous one, totals. And I'm going to do this one first, then go back, totals, and the left. Then I need to do my auto sum here. Check, put it in bold, and here we go. Next, in J6, we want to find out what the bonus is for the Brooklyn, New York store location based on 5% off of their total sales. So the formula is equals. I'm going to press the left arrow, which is I6, asterisk, and then I'm going to click B5 or B16 for the 5%. And then I'll check and bring it down. Fill handle. Now I have the green rectangle, which tells me there's an error, and then I have no values. So what happened here? So there's my formula, I6 times B16, that's fine. When I click the next one, I7 is correct, but then it's going from B16 to B17 to B18. It thinks that I wanted to start at 16 and go down. So I'm going to click Undo and then go back into the formula bar. What happens is the bonus rate is only in cell B16 and will remain in B16. So we need to set an absolute cell reference by pressing the function key, the keys at the top, F1, F2, F3, F4, puts in a $, locks it in on column B and row 16. So it'll only look at that cell. Check, and now go ahead and fill handle. And I'll do the last one. And there you have it. And if you look at the formula, it'll be I6 times B16, I7 by 16, I8. Another way you could look at the formula also is click formulas and choose show formulas. And I'll just drag over. Doesn't show the values, but it actually shows all of the formulas if you just wanted to peek at them. And control tilde will also turn it off. So that's all set for Complex Formula 2. What we can also do for the bonus, if you want to select it, is not the total, is to choose home and conditional bars. Maybe choose a data bar, and then you can either choose gradient or solid color, whatever you'd like. And what happens here is it shows the higher amount has more shading than a smaller amount or lesser amount. Complex Formula 3. So this one, before you go ahead and do your alt sum, we're going to do it a little different. So let's put in our date first, equals today, open parentheses, and then click in A5. So before we do any totals, and notice there's no total row on row 14, but before we do that, we're going to select Format as Table. And you can select any color, either from light, medium, or dark. I'm going to choose the blue. And it comes up, what is the particular range, and Excel is pretty smart and knows that from the place that you started, it goes to the very end. A5 through I13, which is perfect. My table does have column headings, state, store location, January, so forth, so that's good. So the default settings are perfect. And then in here, I'm going to get ready to do my Alt equals. And the formula starts to change. So it's equals sum in parentheses, January through June, but because it's considered now a table, it has in the formula table 1 at, and then the brackets, January colon through June, which is fine. But watch what happens when you press enter to accept this formula. It does them all for you. The next thing we want to do, you know what? We never did that total row. So if you click in the table design, if you happen to change from home or insert, make sure you're in the table design tab, and there's actually in the table style options, total row. Click that and you have a new total row. The only thing is it only did one total. So select in this total, which is the correct amount, hover over to your fill handle, and you can go towards the left and fill them all in. What you can also do with the table is you have these little markers on each of the columns, and you can select and put things in alphabetical order, so it's by state. What you can also do is filter. So maybe we want a printout, but we do not want to include New York. So you could choose this, and the arrow means that it's been sorted alphabetically, and I'm going to uncheck New York. So we just have Massachusetts, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, and click OK. So New York's are all gone, and we have a little filter showing that this column has been filtered. And you can also see the numbers are lit up and they're out of sequence. What happened to 9, 10, 11? That just tells you that they are missing. But you can get them back by choosing clear from state. Now let's say I wanted to just get the New York. I would go back here. I would uncheck Mass, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania and just have New York. So I just have the New York and I could print that out. You should always clear your filter so it starts back at the beginning. You can click select all to get them back, or clear from filter. Either one will get them all back. But I will keep it in alphabetical order. And the last worksheet, customer sales. So if you look at D1, it's really not number O, it's number order. So I'm going to select A through D, and I am going to drag them so I can see everything. Oh, maybe a little bit more. There, so I can see everything. Sales tax and total sales is fine. Now I'm going to select column C and put it in $ format because it's a price, and I'm going to do it ahead of time in E, F, and G. When I click it, nothing's going to happen right now, but you'll see later that it's already in accounting format style. All right, so our first formula is to multiply the unit price times the number ordered. So equals, and I'm going to click C2 times D2. Oops, D2. And then notice the colors coordinate, blue with blue, red with red, and they're highlighted. I'm just going to press tab to jump into the column F. $20, 10 times 2 is $20. The tax is formula equals left arrow, which is E2, times, and the tax is right here in B10, 6.25%, and the tax is always in that particular cell, so make sure you press F4. And then I'll press tab, and the last one is equals, and you're just adding E2 plus F2. And you can see the range and enter. So now I'm going to select those three, and I can use the fill handle to bring it down. And if I want to do totals, I can use my auto sum, and I can drag it across. For this one, I don't want the $, the accounting format, so I would just choose general, because I don't want decimals either. Now, I don't have a title for this. Select on row 1, so it selects the entire row, and then this insert. It's on the Home tab, Insert a Row. If you click this button, you would choose Insert Sheet Row. If you just click the top part, it's fine. So this will be an A1, Customer Sales, Enter. And then I want to, actually G looks like the S is not, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Yeah. So I want to center it above all of these columns A through G. So with the open plus fold and drag it across to G, merge and center. You can make it a little bit larger, put it in bold, maybe add some shading. And then I like to do something to the column headings as well. Maybe put it in center, a little bigger, bold, and a different color. For the total row, you can also choose the cell styles, the total row. So you have your total row there. And that looks a little bit nicer. So you have all your this is more official looking, looks good. And I think that's it. Go back to the first one, complex formula 2, 3, and 4. That's a save and submit. Thank you.